Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart, here with our resident horse handicapper, Marco D'Angelo, at Marco in Vegas on Twitter. Make sure you guys are giving him a follow if you have any questions in regards to basically the Kentucky Derby, because that's what we're talking now. But any horse racing questions, Marco is your man. Okay, Marco, so last week we did some videos. You brought up a horse named Omaha Beach. You said, hey, I like this horse a lot. Now I keep hearing rumblings that maybe he's injured. There's a quarter crack. Can you please break this down for me and tell me what this means for the Derby?
Okay, first of all, here's where my horse owner experience comes in, because I've had to deal with a lot of quarter cracks with horses. What a quarter crack is when a horse, and it could happen to any one of his 4 feet, but the hoof wall actually gets a crack in it and it separates. And generally it happens on the back quarter of his hoof, hence the term quarter crack. And what it does, to give it for humans to have something to compare it to, is if you got a crack in your fingernail, but the crack came at the top, right by your cuticle, until that grows out, it hurts.
So it's pretty painful.
It is, but when it first happens. But what we do in horse racing, and when the quarter crack happens, it happens at the top of the foot, right where the coronary band is. It's where the flesh stops and the hoof starts. What you do is you get a special blacksmith that comes in, and he will help that injury by doing work on it, where he actually like stitches the horse's hoof wall, that separation, stitches it together, and then puts a patch over it, and that gives the wall support, so that when the horse's foot is coming down, you don't have that pain that you had at the beginning. And as it continues to grow out, like on your fingernail, it'll grow down the hoof wall to eventually it's gone.
Okay, Dr. Marco over here, veterinarian Marco. In all seriousness, though, do you think this is going to be a concern for people that want to bet Omaha Beach?
No, because this injury, actually, the quarter crack occurred February 2nd. He's raced twice since this happened, and he's had no problems at all. And as I said, as the time goes on, it's less and less of a factor because it's growing down the hoof. And he brought in, as I said, a specialist, Stewart. When I had horses in Pennsylvania, we actually brought a guy in from New York to come down. That was his specialty. He would repair quarter cracks, because you got to make sure it's clean, because it's an opening. You don't want that to get in. And a horse's hoof wall, there's an outer wall and an inner wall, and you don't want to get dirt in there and get an infection inside. Then you get an abscess, and then they can pop a gravel, and that's a whole nother story. So you have it cleaned out, you have it patched. They put like a rubber fabric over it. They melt it, and then it just, it's like glue. Wow. It goes over the outside, and that covers up the stitching, and then the hoof wall is stable. But it happened February 2nd. He's had 2 races. He hasn't had a problem since then.
Why are we just hearing about it now, or what's with the media trying to make a big deal out of it?
Because over the weekend, they brought the horse blacksmith in. They flew their regular blacksmith in from California, which I would do the same thing. We're racing the biggest race in the world, the Kentucky Derby. It's time for the horse to get shod. You change the shoes on a horse every 4, 5, 6 weeks. Each trainer's different, because what happens is it's not necessarily the shoes wearing out. The horse's hoof is growing, just like your fingernails grow. You have to trim a horse's feet so that the hoof is not too high. It's like, you know how you walk with high heels? It's not the same as walking with regular shoes, okay? If a horse's hoof grows too much and you don't have it addressed, it's going to make him awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable for him. It's going to change his gait and can make, cause an injury. So that's why you keep the horse's feet at certain angles. This is just what is supposed to be done right now, and they're doing it 2 weeks before the race, and it's the way I have always done it. If we had a big race coming up, we wouldn't shoe the horse the week of the race, just in case when the blacksmith is trimming his feet. Have you ever gone and got a pedicure and they trimmed you just a little bit too much?
Yes.
That hurts for a couple days, doesn't it? That's why you do it 2 weeks out, so if there is any little mistake made, the horse has some time to heal from being cut too short, or if the blacksmith hits the nail in putting the shoe in and actually hits meat instead of the outside wall, the horse could be, hurt for a little bit, or sore, I should say. So you do it 2 weeks out, but they saw this guy come in from California, and they saw him putting the patch on. All he was doing was changing the patch, the outer layer, making sure everything was clean, and going back at it.
All right, good stuff from Marco, guys. Unlimited $10 off everything the day of the Kentucky Derby at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMoma.com using coupon code DERBY10 when checking out.